Welcome, everybody, back to the Nuggets of Gold podcast and YouTube channel. So for today's episode, I'm going to be talking about just the 49ers situation right now, coming off of a horrible loss against the Arizona Cardinals where they're starting Colt McCoy. Definitely one that you should win. You should expect to win. You're favored in that game at home against a backup quarterback. Also, they don't have DeAndre Hopkins. J.J. Watt it's his first game not there. Chase Edmonds goes down right away. And in response, the Cardinals absolutely destroy the 49ers. I think this is kind of just like an exclamation point on what we've seen throughout the year in terms of like showing that the secondary is not good. Now, this week, they don't have either starter at safety. They're missing Jason Verrett and whatnot, but they do not have depth there. And a couple of these injuries, such as the Kwaski Tart injury, the Jason Verrett injury, these are guys that have gone down a lot in the past, and they do not have the guys behind them that can play really well. Dre Kirkpatrick came in relief of Josh Norman after I believe he was benched because he had a very, very stupid penalty on third down or on fourth down because the play was over. Dre Kirkpatrick comes in and gets ran over by, I think it was Ito Benjamin, like the third string running back for the Cardinals. You see the game that James Conner had today. 2 fumbles, an interception by Jimmy, even though it was late. I don't really blame this game on Jimmy really at all. Nothing to do with him. I didn't feel like, at least. Nothing to do with Kyle either in this game. Like they just got flat out embarrassed. The secondary is not good. And now what we've seen is a team that had playoff aspirations, a team with a really good, like for the most part, a really good roster in a lot of areas. Their front seven is good. Now, their defensive line isn't as good as it has been in years past, but they have 3 legit linebackers. They have Nick Bosa, but it doesn't matter because they get exposed in the secondary so much. Let's just look at today's game, for example. Completion percentage for Colt McCoy. He goes 22 of 26. 22 of 26. That is what? Let's see. 84% completion percentage. I don't know what the year total is, but I would guess that opposing quarterbacks are completing well over 70%. And that's ridiculously high. Teams just quick pass, quick pass, quick pass. The Niners it feels like they're always in man on third down. It's super predictable. You know what they're going to do? They're going to get open on these guys. Josh Norman, he is exposed, and now he's made a few turnovers, but he also had a bunch of terrible plays. And they don't have a next man up mentality in that secondary. And I think that's been one of the biggest issues for them offensively. Ton of turnovers. Early on in the year, especially really bad quarterback play from Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't feel like the last 2 weeks has been that. In Trey Lance's first start, you talk about like trying to help the youngster in his first opportunity. The offensive line plays the worst game that they did all year long. There's been a number of things. There's been a couple questionable calls by Kyle as this, in terms of play calling in a couple of these games. I'm not going to blame it. Sorry about that. I'm not going to blame it on Kyle, because like not all of it. Like obviously sometimes like you have to look at it and go, okay, that was a terrible call. Oh, you should have prepared better in the secondary. There's definitely areas too, but I don't think like all the blame gets to be put on him. The players are not executing. When you have a -9 turnover ratio, what is this? 9 games into the year, you're averaging to lose a turnover every single game. That's not good. You look at like when this team has been successful, it's when they have a lot of turnovers. So that's been one of the biggest issues as well. And I don't know, dude. It's just they run the ball only 10 times today because they're behind. They don't get to play the game that they want to play. It feels like this 49er team, they win, but they have to play perfectly. And if there's anything that's going wrong, they're not able to do that. And so that's been really, really frustrating, I think, for everybody watching as this season has gone on. And it's getting to the point now where is it even worth it to try to push for a 7th seed with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback? Like, I guess it's obtainable, but do we really have faith that the secondary is going to be able to last against some of these other teams, against a Vikings team when they play a huge game there, or an Atlanta Falcons game when they play there? Like those are games that are going to decide this wild card race, I guess. But the Niners are already a little bit far behind right now. And why do we not expect them to get exposed in those games against those wide receivers? I think that we should. And there hasn't been an adjustment made either. I know that I was not super critical of DeMeco early on, but I've always kind of been questioning like some of these calls on third down, and it feels like there's been no adjustment as this season has gone on in terms of, all right, let's just run man on third down, and they pick it up. It feels like routinely. If they don't pick it up, if they're like actually not converting the third down though, a lot of them are converted just on penalties. And there's been now the last couple weeks hasn't been as many of them, but this Cardinals game, we see them just get first down completion. It feels like routinely every single time. And it's not like the pressure is not great. It's not like anything amazing, but I don't think their pressure is awful. But everything's getting the quarterback gets the ball out in 2 seconds every single time. That's how fast these guys are getting open. The secondary is awful. Today made James Conner look like Derrick Henry today. That's how good that dude looked. He had 3 touchdowns, probably one of his best career games ever. I know he had another game that he did really, really well on the Steelers. I think this is probably better than that. I don't know. Steelers fans, Cardinals fans, James Conner fans, let me know if that's the case. But really, really rough one. I will say, credit to the Cardinals. Colt McCoy went out there, played a really, really good game. You have a couple guys on their team that did well. Congratulations to Chandler Jones. He's always been, I think, one of the most underrated players in the league. He actually gets the Cardinals sack record today. So congratulations to those guys. Got to, give them a nod on the other end because that's a tough win when you come in there super down like that. Obviously very frustrating for the 49ers, but man, it's a rough one. And the title is is this the most disappointing season since 2014? That was the year when Jim Harbaugh was fired. Kind of feels like it right now because I feel like this is like early on, like right after that, the roster got beat up. A lot of guys retired, left. Crabtree left, Patrick Willis retired, Borland retired. Like so many guys were gone, and it seemed like the roster lost a lot of talent. And then besides 2019, there hasn't been a ton of talent in this franchise. So this year there definitely was, and yet there's these massive holes and just lack of execution. I believe in a number of ways. I don't think you can blame this on any single player, on Kyle or like just him. Just Sean Lynch. I think it's a lot of different people. They go out in the second, third round, and in day 3 as well. Go try to fix a couple spots. Aaron Banks hasn't even been active, or maybe he was active last week. Barely has been active. Ambry Thomas, he's not really doing anything. Diamondor Lenore, he looked good early on. He looked really good early on. They haven't really played him after that. So been very frustrating. I think it's it's a pretty rough spot to be in when you have the expectation that they did have it coming into this year. So been really, really bad. But let me know what you think, their biggest issue is or what all of their issues are right now. Hey, is it this? Is it that? I mean, there's a lot of things. I talked about a lot of fumbles, a lot of turnovers, inconsistency just throughout the offense, especially quarterback, offensive. I mean, just everything. And then even though the front seven's good, secondary is just such a massive hole, I feel like, and just constantly getting beat through the ground and through the air. So really, really frustrating right now. But that's going to do it for me today. Let me know what you guys are thinking as well. Obviously, pretty negative time right now, but what do you think's up? What do you think they need to do to fix all this? But that's going to do it for me today. Thank you all for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow.